Start. So my name is Roger Dreyer. I'm the CWO of Fantasma Magic, that's Chief Wizard Officer, and also the Houdini Museum of New York. So let's start out. There's the young Houdini, Harry Houdini, the dude that won all these different medals. He won the race around Central Park. As many of you know, Houdini got the name from Robert Houdin. And Houdini, of course, trying to show his ego, once wrote a book called Unmasking of Robert Houdin, saying that all these things about Houdin aren't so great. I am the greatest. And then Houdini actually kind of was upset that he ever even posted this book or ever wrote this book. So if you guys can, there, now we're back live. Awesome. So what I just said is, there is Jacob Heyman, Houdini's first partner. And as all of us know, it went from Jacob Heyman to Theodore Houdini, the brothers Houdini, and eventually Bess Houdini. What's kind of cool is at one point around 1893, 1894, there were two different sets of brothers Houdini performing. Jacob Heyman and his brother, and Harry Houdini and his brother Houdini. Then, of course, good old Bess came around. Yes, the lovely Bess Houdini, 4'11", and they got married after 3 weeks of meeting. And as all of us know, Houdini started as the king of cards. And there's Houdini, another photo of the king of cards. Here's something that's really cool that you guys will appreciate. One of the reasons why I collect Houdini is because of his marketing and his marketing ability. As many of you know, Houdini got married around 1894, and he was trying to take care of his wife, Bess. He needed shelter, he needed food. He wasn't doing so well, so he joined the circus, the Welsh Brothers Circus, in 1895 and again in 1898. But check this out. You might have seen this in the Doug Henning book, the Welsh Brothers Circus, but here's the cool part. The cool part is Houdini wrote his own letter of recommendation. Now, how's that for stealing someone's letterhead? You just go ahead and write your own letter of recommendation. Now, this is what intrigues me, Houdini's marketing ability. This is actually autographed on the back, this cabinet photo. This is dated 1899, 1899. And then Houdini used this photo in his publicity in 1900. Hey, Kevin James, we love Kevin James. Kevin, I don't think you should do an act like this. Here you are semi-naked with handcuffs. Look at that. But what I'm getting at is Houdini would be using his beefcakeness to promote himself. One of the cool things is the different sayings that Houdini is known for. Secure is not Houdini, and all's well. That's April 6, 1925. As many of you Houdini nuts know, Houdini always says that was his birthday when it was really March 24th. So there's Houdini jumping off the bridge. And again, why do I like Houdini? I like Houdini for his marketing. The man who laughs at locks. And look at this really phenomenal die-cut piece of ephemera. And of course, here's the really cool Daily Mirror Challenge. Now here's a fun story. This is an original photo of Houdini with the Mirror Challenge. And I actually picked up this key from Henry Mueller. We got all excited. What? Copperfield, David, has one. He has the original mirror cuffsing key. Henry says, no. There are two keys. And he sold me this key. David Copperfield was nice enough to try it out. Well, nope, this key did not fit David Copperfield's mirror cuffs. Unfortunately, we all were so excited to say, well, maybe that's how Houdini did it, just with two keys. And then over here, this is just an Ian McCall reproduction of the mirror cuffs. Again, there's Houdini, 1906, publicity photo. Safe bind, safe find doesn't apply to the undersign. Harry, you keep posing semi-naked. You crack me up. Then over here, we have a a punishment suit. Which one of you guys wants to get in this? I wonder if Andre Basso ever got out of a punishment suit. Not straitjacket, punishment suit. One of my favorite items is the Times Square. Now, Houdini was brilliant. I mean, heck, if you're going to get locked up inside a straitjacket and do an escape, you might as well do it right in front of the newspaper office. And yep, you're guaranteed publicity that way. And how great was Houdini, again, marketing-wise, to come up with the Challenge Escape Act. So as many of you know, Houdini would send a front man, maybe Amadeo, maybe be Rose Mackenberg, to go to the city where he was about to perform before, the town where he was about to perform before. He would challenge the local people, maybe it was the Weed Tire Company, and next thing you know, the entire theater is guaranteed to fill up because everyone wants to see Houdini fail or even possibly die. I wonder if Dave Cox uses that way to draw in the crowd. Just like say, hey, people, come see me perform. I might even die. Just kidding, Dave. How you doing? So then, of course, Houdini, what a great relationship he had with his mother. Many of us have our moms as our inspiration. What I like about this family photo, it says the whole damn family. It's pretty cool. And then again, Houdini, there he is. Houdini, doomed to die, will die a natural death. I mean, heck, if that doesn't get people to come in to see your show, nothing will. So here we go. Here's something really cool. All right, you escape artist nuts, check this out. Here is the original plate used for Houdini to escape from certain British cuffs. He wrote about this in Handcuff Secrets. This is the actual plate that I got from the great Houdini collector Doug Edwards during his Swan auction. And this definitely went for a price because a lot of us Houdini nuts really wanted this. So as Houdini wrote, if you were to loosen the spring inside the cuffs, if you were then to hit that cuff on a hard object, Houdini would actually hide this object underneath his pants, it would spring open, whether it be a cob cuff or a plug 8. So it was pretty amazing what Harry did. Here's another fun bit. Thanks to my friend Fred Patilla, who's been very supportive. Fred actually pointed this out. Check that out. This is in Patrick Culleton's book, and it talks about when Houdini, there's more of these lily irons than there are keys for it. So Houdini actually sent this handcuff out to get a key made by Rodeberg. How cool is that Rodeberg says, there's the letter H. So they kind of put the letter H right inside there. So thanks to Fred Patilla for bringing that to my attention. And yes, the good old John Gaughan restored the water torture cell. He was nice enough to get me some of the remaining parts of the water torture cell. And this is really cool. A nice program signed by Houdini describing the water torture cell. I wonder if Andrew Basso is going to do the water torture cell for us all. He does a great job with that. And then here it is. As many of you know, why did Houdini come up with the water torture cell? And he first presented it as a play in order to copyright the trick. The reason is Houdini had so many people copying his act. He wanted to do something so dangerous, so bizarre, that you would have to be as crazy as Andrew Basso in order to do it today. And there you are, the nice program for the Houdini water torture cell, and that program, Broadside. So let's check out some more stuff. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah. Houdini knew what was going to happen to him. All of these spiritualists were threatening his death. Houdini wanted to get a nice bronze monument for his gravesite, and he actually was alive when it was being sculpted. And at one point, the Parent Assembly, SAM, loaned us the original, and we were actually able, thanks to a person with a 3D printer and scanning in a drawing and then recreating, we've been told that this actually has more detail than the actual original gravesite bust. Now, talking about tables, look at this. Is this politically correct? This is Houdini's performance table. It came from Willard Smith to Dick Luby to the guy from the Antiques Roadshow and then to me. The devil is with you. The devil is with you. This was used for the production of clocks. Really, really cool. All right, let's go meet my friend over here. His name is Q. Q, this is a reproduction of Q. It's kind of funny. I love telling people, is it the original? I go, I'm not going to say either or because the guy might come alive and kill you. But no, this is a reproduction of Q from, the 15-part serial, The Master Mystery. which is really cool. So thanks to John Gaunt for creating that for us. So for you escape artists, check these out. We got leather restraints. We got some really cool palmers. And I forgot what you call this. And by the way, for all you guys that are watching, the most important thing is I might say occasionally the wrong name of some handcuffs, and I'm just doing it on purpose to keep you guys on your toes. So feel free to always correct me anytime I use the wrong cuff. But how cool is this? The Mackenzie mitts. Supposedly about 30 sets were made. The story goes, as many of you know, that this was created by Captain Mackenzie because if you were given the key, there's no way you could open this because your finger can't move. Supposedly, what happened is when the prisoners had to go to the bathroom, they would go ahead and ask the warden or the prison guard to unzip their fly, and then wee-wee wars broke out. Who knows if that was true or not, but these are really cool Mackenzie mitts. One of my favorite pictures, the Grimm game. Guys, how cool is that? An original Paramount movie poster. I just like this. I think I'm going to stop now. No, I'm going to keep going, but I just really like this poster. And there's some movie publicity shots. And then, again, Harry Houdini, the king of marketing. How brilliant was Harry Houdini to say, hey, if you don't believe, I'm going to challenge anyone to say that these two planes didn't actually collide in midair during the filming of the movie The Grimm Game. Can you imagine in 1919, when movies were somewhat new, going to the theater and seeing the two planes crash to the ground? Sure helped Houdini's sales then. All right, you escape artists, check out some of Houdini's tools. These are some handmade tools that I got from the Sid Radner sale. And this is really cool. Check out the piece of clay. We'll talk about that in a second. And there's some different picks, some files, all these different things. I wonder if you guys work as hard as Houdini did with the picks and the files and the crowbars to get out of different escapes. And there's a really nice wood piece for a plug 8 to get out of. And one of my favorite, Houdini and spiritualism. Really cool. Those are the Fox sisters. That's an original cabinet photo from 1848. The Fox sisters, they're the ones that started the whole spiritualistic trend. Supposedly, they would supposedly they would take off their shoe, and if you asked a question during the seance when everyone was around the table, snapping sounds would be heard because these girls were able to make snapping sounds with their toes. Really cool. And there's the famous Benninghoffen spiritualist, different spirit photos. Houdini was challenged by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle saying, Houdini, just admit it, you come from the spirit world and look at these fairy photos. And next thing you know, there's Lincoln, Houdini would make appear. There's all these faces Houdini would make appear. Again, the $10,000 challenge. Again, why I love Houdini and marketing. This is really cool. I got this from Larry Weeks via David Haverset. See the letter H, H for Harry Houdini. This is the leather tube that Houdini took his debunking of spiritualist items with him. Now, debunking, what am I meaning by that? Check this hand out. This is one of my favorite pieces in our venue. What's really cool about this, during a seance, everyone would have to gather around the table, and when the lights were out, the next thing you know, the spiritualist would then wrap that plum metal hand around the person's wrist next to them. Their hand is then free. They would then be able to reach and get an extension rod that would go over 20 feet, wave the silk or the ghost over the person's head. But guys, how cool is that? Have any of you, I'm just curious, if any of you can tell me who are watching we have 5,000 people watching. Is that right, Andrew? 5,000 people? That's awesome, Andrew. Can you tell me, have any of you guys ever seen this spirit hand before in anyone's collection? It's really cool. Then here is Houdini making paraffin hands to show how ghosts don't really exist. These are glow-in-the-dark hands, which is pretty cool. One of my favorite pieces that I picked up recently is, come on, abracadabra, and there. I'm not sure if you can see it. Let's get it on. Hard to see. It's a Conan Doyle spirit slide. And here's something really cool. This is Houdini's packing box escape gimmick. Really, really cool. The story behind that is, if you were to have a vise and you were to twist it, and only one side opens up, you will crack the boards. By opening up both sides at the same time, it'll be an even opening. Supposedly, the escape artist would hold on to this bar on the vertebrae, so when you're being examined, you're not going to be able to have that discovered. And Houdini would use this for packing box escapes. What's really nifty is these, there was an article, what's the date on this, Roger? 1929 of this article, and it shows the actual vise that was used to open up the packing boxes. Again, here's Houdini, the king of marketing. There he is, right there. Look at that beautiful theater. I wonder if Kevin James and the Illusionist has this type of theater set up. Really, really cool. And Tony Curtis, have any of you guys met Tony before? What a magic aficionado. He was awesome. I used to meet him in Spago's at the bar, and he was nice enough to draw that little floating ball for me. What's cool about this is, I think this is a one-of-a-kind movie poster. No one has ever seen this one-off Houdini poster. Houdini, cuffs, handcuffs, and more cuffs. I got this from Henry Mueller. This was on display in their beautiful Niagara Falls Museum. I was lucky enough to obtain this from the Mueller family. And this came from Dunninger. I have the paperwork from 1967. So as many of you know, in Dunninger's later years, he was making so-called artificial Houdini handcuffs, but I believe these are actually Houdini's handcuffs. You can see different jail locks, Hamburg 8s, different, look at all the lily irons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a lot of lily irons on here. Pretty cool. All right, check this out, guys. Yep, thanks to John Gaughan and Houdini's accountant. This is the Metamorphosis Trunk. This is the Taylor version. This is a rear loader. Now, if you guys were to examine this, you would never find, yep, a fake panel on this. It is absolutely brilliant how the fake panel is released. You have to have some type of button hook, some type of claw to pull up one panel in order to release the other panel. But it's totally examinable. You'll never detect it unless you have some type of button hook. Thanks to the late Ray Goulet, there she is, the beautiful Bess Houdini. That is Bess Houdini's costume, absolutely magnificent. My friend David Copperfield has an even nicer costume, but I like this costume. And there's the lovely Bess wearing this costume. It's pretty cool. And then, by the way, guys, as I go on, if you have any questions, just feel free to say whatever you want. I'm here to not just keep blah, 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 blahing, which I can go on for hours, which we'll do on for another 15 minutes. But if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. So, how many of you guys know what this is? This is Jarrett's mailbag escape gimmick that he created for Houdini. This is Houdini's actual mailbag. The story behind this is Jack Channon out of Philadelphia, the magic dealer. Jack Channon's father was a barber across from the Philadelphia Keith's Theater. Houdini brought this mailbag in after one of his performances, left it in the barbershop by accident, ended up in Jack Channon, then ended up in me. Pretty cool. Now, this is really wild. I'm trying to see if you guys can see it. This is Houdini performing in San Quentin Penitentiary. Houdini is all the way back there. There's all the people, the prisoners watching him. There's Houdini on a table performing. Guess what trick Houdini is doing? Houdini is doing the East Indian needle trick. Now, talking about performance skills, out of all the tricks you're going to pick to entertain a bunch of prisoners, you're going to pick the East Indian needle trick. That shows how Houdini was able to project his voice. That shows how Houdini was a true showman to pull that off. Remember why I said I like Houdini? This is the letter that Houdini wrote and got back from San Quentin. He staged his own performance. He was going to be in that part of California. He wanted to appear because he thought the publicity would be really good. This is around December of 1915. David Copperfield was nice enough to donate to our museum the actual straitjacket that he used in Passions of Fire. There it is, Passions of Fire. He won an Emmy Award in 1993 for the Passions of Fire. And as many of you remember, there was a burning rope and burning spikes underneath him. If you ever want to see David Copperfield at his best, where there was a certain tension in the audience, that was definitely it. Copperfield was magnificent performing that straitjacket escape. Thanks to Fred Patilla, I recently picked up that some of Houdini's needles. John Hinson has a pair. I think Joshua J has a set. Fred Patilla has a set. But this is really, really cool of the East Indian needle trick. And it says, supposedly, Houdini wrote, let me get this straight, Houdini says that he has 150 needles. That's what he wrote Fay Rice. I think that was the Boston librarian. 150 needles. I'm not absolutely sure if he did that or not, but who knows. You handcuff guys, there's a set of Burdick handcuffs that are really cool. And then here is one of Houdini's straitjacket extra straps that he used in case something should happen. Wait. Harry, what are you doing just hanging around here? Houdini always hangs around here. There's a nice little record player that we usually play the last seance of Houdini. It's pretty cool. So before I go on, do you guys have any questions? Any questions whatsoever? All right, let's keep going. Check this out. This is not a photo. This is not a photo. This is a painting by Rick Heath. How magnificent is that? And thanks to Barry Spector, Barry really has done a lot for us Houdini nuts. Barry actually got the wood from Houdini's house, and there's the paint on top of Houdini's original wood floor paneling. Talking about Barry Spector, check these creations out, guys. There's a recreation of the jail cell from 1906. There is the water torture cell that I don't think Andrew Basso could fit inside, which is really, really cool. And Barry recreated a lot of these locks, and many of you might have gotten a Houdini wand from Barry, which is really cool. And then Dion in Bulgaria, yes, the question is, are we in New Jersey, right? Yes, we moved out of New York. We were right next to Macy's, and after Macy's got looted and the whole New York City went to pot, we moved this to New Jersey. And if you would like to come visit, you shoot me an email, we can arrange an appointment. Before, we used to be open 7 days a week. Now we're only doing it by appointment. So getting back to Barry Spector, look at some of these great things that Deanne from Bulgaria and Barry created. A Ouija board, a mini Ouija board, deluxe pendulum, all this with wood made from Houdini's house. This is really cool, a brick pendulum. The pendulum actually has pieces of Houdini's brick inside it, which is really cool. And that's the legacy. Now commercial break. If any of you would like to buy any of these original pieces of wood from Houdini's home into magic tricks, thanks to Barry and Dion, go to HoudiniRevealed.com and you can go buy it there. Now back to the show. Oh yeah, check this out. The Marjorie box. Thank you, Barry Spector. Amazing. A mini Marjorie ring box. And then this is one of my favorite photos, guys. This is Houdini's father, the Reverend Weiss. Supposedly, this photo was by Houdini's bedside, and it's signed in the back, my blessed father, Reverend S.M. Weiss, signed Harry Houdini. I think there's only 3 photos of this, the Library of Congress and myself, but I think I have the only autograph one. When I said to Milt Larson, Arlene Larson, that I have the photo by his bed, they were nice enough to donate Houdini's bedside lamps that Bess Houdini left to Jerry Larson, then to Milt Larson. So thank the Larson family for that. I really love this. This is from the French artist Valerie Schmidt. It's absolutely phenomenal. She's a great performer and also a great artist. So again, Houdini publicity photos, semi-naked. There's, again, more great sayings from Houdini. Stone walls, not a prison makes, nor iron bars a cell. Stone walls do not a prison make, nor iron bars a cell. Harry Houdini. Pretty cool. All right, so let's check out some of the cuffs and some of the examples. Here's something that's really cool. I got this from Fred Patella. These are Gaffed bridge jumpers. So these will pop open. Come on, right? Boom, boom, boom. Boom. Rotate your phone so you can see the phone properly. Sorry. There you go. So these could be opened up as you jump into the water. These are an easier pair to open up. I got this at the Sid Radner sale. All you got to do is just push in and then it opens up. That's all you have to do. So if these were on you, you just push in once, click more, and then they open up, which is really cool. Fred Patilla has one, but I also got one. Got this from Doug Edwards, who got this from Larry Weeks. This is a Bean Giant extension key. Supposedly, Houdini and Captain Bean would challenge people to get out of these handcuffs. If you did not have an extension key, you wouldn't be able to get out of it because it was just too close. You needed to have this extension, which is really cool. And then even Houdini offered a reward to anyone that were able to get out of these particular handcuffs. This is a really cool, possibly for jail cells, a split barrel pick. Now here's what's really cool about this. This actually has, hi, would you mind holding this for a second? I wouldn't mind you. Thank you. I have a camera person named Ava. So this is really cool. So on here, there's actually thread. This is Houdini's DNA right there. So the split barrel would allow you to go inside any jail cell because the pin could be up to different thicknesses. But the thread, I'm not sure if many of you guys know why there's thread on this with even a little mouthpiece. That's because if Houdini was to drop this, he would put the thread in his mouth to begin with, and then if he dropped it, he'd just go like this up and be able to retrieve the pick in the dark. Really cool. Here's another, this is a plug 8 with a nice wood tip, more Houdini DNA. I'm not sure if Houdini just used it to twist as a grip or if Houdini put this inside his mouth, but here's a plug 8 pick, which is pretty cool. Here's a question for you guys. Have any of you ever seen these handcuffs before? These are a reproduction, but I don't know who made them. And I'm not sure. If any of you guys can messenger me and let me know if you've ever seen these handcuffs, these wrist restraints, that would really be appreciated. Trying to find out some more information about this. What else do we got? Here's another pair of unusual handcuffs. Check these out. And it would be closed with the lock. Have you guys ever seen this before? This came from Sid Radner that got this from Houdini, that they claimed this to be Houdini's. But this is definitely a very unusual pair of wrist restraints. What else do we got? Over here, these are really cool. This was in the Walter Gibson book. This swivels. How cool is that? And these were made to open up these Tower Lion thumb cuffs. So this is a pick. You can see the key. You can see how close it is. These were made to open up different types of thumb cuffs. These are pretty cool. And then I love this pick. These are made to open up a bean cob. It would go right down the slot here to get a nice opening. And over here, this is really cool. More Houdini DNA. This is tape that Houdini would put in his mouth. And I believe this to be for some type of German restraint with the square hole opening. But how cool is this to have a key or a pick that Houdini actually had inside his mouth? Pretty awesome. And let's see what else. Down over here, we mentioned the clay before. As many of you guys know, Houdini would go ahead and get an impression of the key that the person was challenging him with. So that's really cool. Then Houdini would go backstage and he would then be able to match the key that matches the clay. And then next thing you know, he'll be able to either swallow the key, hide the key, or put the key in an area that I'm not even going to talk about. Talking about keys, come over here. That's right, commercial break, limited time only. If you're interested in this original collage for sale, private messenger, Roger Dreyer. And that's an original key that we got off of Houdini's chain of keys and Houdini era handcuffs. And these are reproductions of the photos that we have in our museum, but they're from the original print. Pretty cool. What I like the best about it is the Grateful Dead skull frame around it. So if you guys are interested in this, go ahead, messenger me. Come over here. We have some fun things of Houdini in the movies. Again, Houdini was brilliant in marketing. There's that one piece down there that the image wouldn't appear unless you put a flame towards it. That was to advertise the movie The Master Mystery, the 15-part serial. But how cool is it that Houdini was ahead of his time in marketing in the way he would do that? And look at that robot. I love that press book with that robot over. Really brilliant, brilliant type of approach, which is kind of fun. And of course, Houdini was friendly with guys like Charlie Chaplin, and whether he's friends with them or not, whatever was happening, that's what Houdini wanted to do. If people were flying airplanes, what the heck? Houdini's going to buy a Falstaffian plane, ship it from Europe over to Australia, or if he's in the movies like W.C. Fields over here, or Charlie Chaplin, there's W.C. Fields. These are the original photos that were used inside the Doug Henning book. And here's some really cool spiritualistic items. One of my favorite pieces is this thing here. As Fred Patilla told me, I think I overpaid for it, but it's a Houdini lock that would open up. It would ring, make a ringing sound as you were to open it. And then again, Houdini's publicity. Can the dead speak? Spooks, hear and see Houdini. This is Houdini's actual crystal ball. He gave this crystal ball to Rose Mackenberg, and then we got it through the Rose Mackenberg family. There's a Houdini Misto Spirit Bolt with a reverse thread. There's some Mailbag escapes over here. And there's a Barry Spector really cool Marjorie box. That's really fun. Let's come on this side. Come over here, Ava. Come right this way. Look at this letter H. Look at this letter H. Do any of you guys know what that is? That is the handkerchief that Houdini used when he was doing the razor blades. So Houdini not only did the needles, Houdini actually performed the razor blades from the mouth, where he would switch the razor blades from one to the other. Really, really cool. So that's Houdini's actual switching razor blades. Here's something really cool. Houdini had Keller write this. I'll read you what he wrote. From the Indiana Chavari in 1878, reproduced again in the Asian Calcutta in 1882. Here's what Keller said. For many a day we have heard people say that a wondrous magician was Heller. Change the H into a K and the E into the A, and you have the superior in Keller. Signed H.H. So as many of us know, Houdini and Keller were great friends. Right there. And that actually comes from Houdini's scrapbook. Bruce Averbrook actually now owns the scrapbook, and we're having fun trying to see how badly he wants this. One of the things that I really enjoy are different props that Houdini used in his show. That's the confetti trick to produce either confetti to candy or whatever he wanted at the particular time, which is really cool when you cover it up. And of course, here is the famous Houdini Mirrors, the pocket mirrors that were given out by Bess Houdini. And this to me is really cool. I got this from Marie Hinson. That was Bess Houdini's sister. Here's the teacup that many of you see pictured with Houdini. And thanks to Doug Edwards, that's the one item that was in the Swan auction that was actually taken away from the Swan auction. Doug Edwards loved it so much that he kept it for himself, and I was able to trade it out of the boy. And then over here, here are some wood handcuffs that are very, very rare of Houdini's. And then let's shoot over here. Again, Circus Bush. That's when Houdini first did the water torture cell in 1912. And I love business cards. There's Franz Kugel's business card, Houdini's main assistant. There's Best Houdini's card, Houdini's different business cards, etc. So, now that I've just gone on for a long time, do you guys have any questions? Anything you want to know about Houdini or about the collection? Ask away before I disappear. Yep, someone wants to know how much is Q. That's a great question. Q is $422,000. In other words, no, I'm not selling Q. All right?
One question is, how do people get to come see it live?
That's a great question. You email roger@phantasmamagic.com and we can arrange a museum tour for you.
Absolutely Wowed by Becky. And another question is, how do I get to buy anything that I see that I want from your collection?
Very simple. I think you should call up Harry Houdini. He died in 1926. Channel him and no. Basically, the Houdini items that you saw are not for sale. What is for sale are some of the Barry Spector and Deanne from Bulgaria's beautiful, beautiful pieces. And we do have some Houdini ephemera and Houdini keys for sale. Shoot me a private messenger at roger@phantasmamagic.com.
That was an awesome tour. Brilliant. Thanks for sharing your wonderful collection with the world. Love, Dave Cox. I threw in the love.
Love Dave Cox. Is that the guy with the pineapples that does the hula hula dance? That guy? Come on, I want to hear a Kevin James compliment, not a Dave Cox. All right, I'll take the Dave Cox compliment. Any other questions?
Well, lastly, do you want to know why Anthony Go is shocked? He says he's shocked.
Why?
Ooh, you shocked someone to the point where they can't even respond.
I like that. All right, guys. Hey, Andrew Basso and friends, congratulations on starting GEO, the Great Escape Organization. Congratulations to you guys. This has really been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you in New Jersey or at Magic Live or at a collector's convention. And yes, I'm not interested in selling the Houdini, but I'm interested in acquiring more Houdini. So if you have any leads, definitely let me know. What? Another question?
Nope, just a thank you. Andrew says, Roger Dreyer, thank you for contributing greatly to the art of escapology and its history throughout your museum.
Ta-da! See you guys.